Hello and welcome to Guild Wars Players News, the podcast where we take a look at Guild Wars game series news and talk about content on our site, Guild Wars Players. I'm Sithrith, and today we have Draculetta.
Hey, yo.
Oh, okay.
I thought I'd mix it up
different.
this time. Yeah, I thought I'd mix it up a bit.
Successfully, you did. And we also have a Thoros.
Oh, hey.
Yes. So I'm very sick today. I've been very sick for about a week now. So I am going to try my hardest not to cough my lungs up or explode into a sneezing fit or be generally insane. But, I mean, it's not been going so great so far.
One of those is a foregone conclusion.
One of those has already happened. So we'll see how this show goes. So we've got a bit of news this week. First, we want to take a little bit of time to talk about this past weekend where we had that Stronghold and Revenant weekend. A full weekend full of Stronghold and Revenants. One of these things was good. The other was not, in my opinion anyway. Basically, I know I did a ton of Stronghold, and I played a lot on the Revenant because I got Heart of Thorns, and Thoros and I did a couple-hour stream on Sunday night, doing some Stronghold gameplay and some Revenant stuff. I have not edited the stream fully yet, so the Revenant gameplay is not up yet because, like I said, I've been sick, so it just hasn't happened yet. But the too long didn't watch the stream of it is, I was not a fan of the Revenant in the state that it was in last beta weekend. I was squishy, I couldn't do damage, and when you can't really do one thing, it kind of falls apart. A lot of people say that necromancers can't do a lot of damage, but I mean, my necromancer can survive at least, survive for ages, and so it evens out. The only time I was able to do anything was in PvE. I did a couple Vinewrath runs, and I traded my Revenant fully for the Ventari healing line, and I was really pleased with the amount of AoE healing I was able to do. I was able to keep the siege carriers going. I was able to heal other players around. It was great. Obviously, I couldn't do a whole lot of damage, but with that much healing, it kind of evened out, and I felt useful. But in PvP, I wasn't able to do much of anything. I tried Stronghold, I tried Conquest, it just wasn't great. And Thoros, what did you think playing against Revenants?
They're just bags of meat for me to kill, really.
Well then.
I did both Necro and Mesmer the time we were playing, so I kind of fought at least a few of them on both. And yeah, it seemed like, I don't know exactly what build they had, but it seemed like either if they were building for damage, they would go in and get popped immediately. There was this one time we were all trying to break down the gate in Stronghold. One of them came running up to try and stop us, and we just instantly killed him. Straight up. Just 100 to 0. It was, sad.
Well, and that's the thing. It's it makes sense not to be able to do damage, because, as we'll talk about later, the damage trait line and main DPS focused legend wasn't in the game for this beta. But the thing is, we had the support and kind of tankier trait lines available to us, but we weren't able to survive anyway. So that doesn't make much sense.
That's the thing, too, is not only were they not tanky in any respect, when you said you were built for survivability, you still weren't that survivable.
Right.
And even for the quote-unquote supporty role, they weren't really doing that much supporting. Definitely not on par with a Guardian. Not even with the new Necromancer Blood Magic trait. It probably does more than they do. They have that one slow that's a really cool ability, because it slows everything you try to do. You try to finish someone off and they slow you.
There's literally one skill that gives you that slow.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's only 2 seconds long.
Yeah.
So
and it's really I haven't seen them do anything else.
Right.
To be honest, the downed abilities have probably helped more than their not downed ones, the one that teleports people away. That's probably more helpful than anything else they have to help their teammates, at least. At least that's what it felt like seeing people play them. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I've straight up done a bunch of them at different points. They wouldn't get me low at all, really.
Mm-hmm. And it's also interesting as the weekend went on to see fewer and fewer Revenants around.
Yeah.
Because I think we did a couple Stronghold matches the day the beta weekend went live, and it was
at least 2.
At least 2 per match, and the PvP lobby was just
2 per team.
packed full of Revenants everywhere. And then by the time we did the stream Sunday night, I was the only Revenant around.
Yeah, the whole stream. You were the only one.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Now, granted, it just trails off after a while anyway, but it could possibly be an indication that maybe the class isn't quite up to scratch yet.
I put in a lot of time trying to figure it out and see if there was something I was somehow missing, but I just couldn't get it to work.
Yeah. It's just thing like you said about trying different builds and stuff. None of them give enough. Like your damage builds don't do enough damage. Your tank builds aren't tanky enough. Your utility builds aren't really giving that much utility. And then like trying to go for a balance thing just means you don't do anything of anything.
Right.
It's just like you can't be effective to the level of any other class, even if you build straight directly for that.
Yep. So basically, I am really hoping they do make changes. I know that they specifically said that they were very interested in feedback, and once I get my stream edited, I'll do like a whole write-up post, and I'll probably also post it to the forum so they get that feedback. So I'm hoping that they take this feedback to heart and change things. Stronghold, on the other hand, as always, was amazing fun, and I love Stronghold, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to PvP ever. I did manage to edit out one specific match that Delros and I did on the stream. And it was probably the most intense PvP match I've ever been in, I think, because it was so down to the wire, and it was so intense, and you really should just watch it. It's about 17 minutes long, and it's amazing. And
we're on Necros, no less, too.
And we were on Necros. I think the video ends with us being like, and this is why Necros aren't trash, because they're not.
Yeah.
So it's really good. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely... we've talked about this before, but it kind of just feels like there's more stuff happening in that mode compared to other ones like... I don't remember what they're called now, but just the normal Conquest modes.
Conquest ones, yeah.
Yeah, you just stand in points capturing. Sometimes, someone else turns up, but a lot of time you're just standing there waiting for it to be captured.
Right, and you're running around to other points waiting for people to leave.
Yeah.
And you take it.
In Stronghold, you're pretty much always going somewhere to do something. Like that fight that we did. At the end, we're sort of trying to make a last-ditch defense while our teammates are pushing to take out theirs. And other times we're pushing to try and finish the boss just before they take ours. It's, a lot of the times it's really, really tense. And I kind of don't get that feeling as often with the other modes. It seems a lot more stompy either way.
Yeah, definitely. It depends, I think, on the other team if they've done it before. You can really tell. It'll be interesting once Stronghold is a thing, and we'll be able to do ranked Stronghold matches, because in theory those will be people who have played it more, and it'll be much more intense. Because
like the first 30 seconds or so, maybe even a minute, we always do the same thing pretty much. Most of the time it works. Occasionally we'll get people who seem to be a bit wise to how things are going, like paying attention to whether the gates are being taken down or not, and they'll rush to defend.
Mm-hmm.
And in those times it kind of hurts us a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. It'll be really interesting once the map's been out for a while and you can do it ranked, because I feel like that'll definitely create even more intense fights and matches, and I'm really excited for that.
Mm-hmm. The new hero things they added recently.
Yes.
Nifty too. Obviously, I don't own the expansion, so I can't use any of them, but I've been in games where they've been used.
After trying the two extra ones we had access to, the one I ended up using the most was Nika, the assassin, just because she seems to do a lot of damage, and the
AoE stealth thing too.
Is pretty
really
great.
Good for the script bombers, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Assuming their gates still aren't down at that point, but
but even it's helpful for players, because then they focus on the hero and you can just slip by and go do whatever.
Submarine tactic. They'll think it's just the hero, and then you all pop out of nowhere and they just get destroyed.
Wrecked. Yeah.
Wrecked. Exactly.
So speaking of the Revenant, like I said, the damage trait line, we only had access to 4 out of the 5 core trait lines this weekend, and today they announced the Shiro legend, which I assume will bring the 5th core trait line and specialization thing, and this legend is Shiro Tagachi. And Drac, would you like to talk a little bit about Shiro Tagachi, because I know you really like Shiro Tagachi?
Well, it's not that I really like him. He was just a major part of course, the second expansion to the original Guild Wars factions. He was basically the evil one that you ended up fighting.
Okay.
He quick you want me to give like a quick little history of him?
Sure, go for it.
He was a guardsman of Kenning Ta, and the emperor, I think his name was Agusian, something like that, I think is his name, took him kind of under his wing and made him his bodyguard, and then he kind of went all evil, and he got a little visit by a demon called Abaddon, which Abaddon disguised himself as a fortune teller, and he basically lied to Shiro, and then Shiro went all evil and caused the world to end, almost, basically. Being
nice.
Spoiler-free there.
Right.
So
cool.
But he is cool. He has cool swords in the original Guild Wars.
Yeah, so he dual wields swords, and he kind of rounds out the legend, the 4 legends we get access to as Revenants. We basically have 2 good guy legends and 2 bad guy legends. We get Vantari and Jalis on one hand, and then we get Shiro and Malix on the other. So the 2 good guy legends are kind of the support and healing, and the bad ones are all about condition and damage and straight up DPS, and that's what Shiro does, is straight up DPS, dual wielding swords. Some of the attacks are Rift Slash, Precision Strike, Unrelenting Assault, and they're all pretty cool sounding. Basically, you do a lot of slashing, you shadow step through the mists to stab foes, cool sounding stuff like that. And the utility skills are also pretty cool. Basically, one of them is called Phase Traversal, where you step through the mists to your target, and then the next few attacks that you get are unblockable. So that's pretty interesting. And the heal is also pretty cool. You get these enchanted daggers that kind of pop up over your head, and they strike foes that you attack, and they siphon life.
Yeah, there's a last utility skill they get too, which is called Jade Winds, which actually I found the most interesting. It stuns nearby enemies, like multiple ones by the looks of it, and there's also a trait that triggers it when you get down. That seems like something that would at least give them some utility. Like, a multiple person stun in PvP is a pretty big deal, especially when you're fighting a bunch of NPCs too. Well, obviously, there's still the problem with Revenants being that you can't decide what utility skills you get. So if you want that, then you have to go into the damage build, which kind of does make much sense to me.
And
usually you either go damage or you go utility. But
the Jade Wind's name, too, is kind of harken back to Guild Wars, which we'll talk about later on in the show, actually. Mm-hmm. So that's a nice little a nod to the original game.
Yep.
So adventures are solo-timed challenges that we've heard a little bit about them, like little snippets of them, and I think there was some in some of the earlier closed beta events where players only had access to parts of Verdant Brink map. But basically they're these solo-timed, not events quite, but challenges. Some of them are open world, some of them are instanced, and basically they're these timed things that they provide a lot of replayability.
So yeah, as we mentioned, it's a kind of timed challenge, which I'm not usually a big fan of. I'm not really big on competitive kind of stuff with leaderboards and stuff, which this has also, by the way.
Yeah, I was kind of excited about this until I got to the leaderboard part.
Yeah, I don't want. It's kind of slightly too serious, because even if like the arena intends it to be kind of just we're sort of competing against each other and it's all in good fun, people always take this tough stuff too seriously. Like every time. It's like, if you're not on this, then I'm better than you, sort of stuff. It always happens. But the actual stuff that you're doing looks pretty fun. Even some of them they mentioned has ties to the in-game story, which I found kind of interesting, because not all of the sort of side game stuff tends to have any kind of lore connection at all, really. It's all sort of split off. But yeah, it looks somewhat interesting then, for people who are into sort of either compete against other players or just yourself trying to beat your best time. I assume they have that sort of thing there.
And I guess I did like the fact that it says no other players are going to have the direct impact on your success or failure.
Yeah.
So, and they're kind of splitting them up. If there's any fighting involved in them, your adventure is going to be instance. If it's a non-fighting one, you're going to be in the open world, but still other people won't have impact on you, which is nice, because that should cut down on some of the griefing that I could see could
Yeah.
probably go on if that was not the case.
Yeah, a lot of this competitive stuff can tend to result in griefing if
Right.
it's not actively worked against. So yeah, it's definitely better off that they did that. The rewards, by the way, are there's dailies, which they have for a lot of other stuff, so it makes sense. And they also have rewards based on the tier that you completed the thing in. It's either gold, silver, or bronze, which standard for them because they have those for events too. Yeah, I would assume there'd be decent rewards. We'll have to kind of see exactly what you get from them, though. I guess we'll move on to the. Are you done then?
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll just move on to the next thing, which our Heart of Thorns giveaway is still actively going on. You have until July 21st to enter, so you have a few more days. And, of course, this is for the standard edition this time around. And this is thanks to our supporters on Patreon. And as of our recording right now, we are at 116 entries. Wow. So good luck to everybody. You have a little better odds so far than you did for the Ultimate Edition that we gave away. That was like crazy how many entries we had for that. So a little bit better odds, but still the RNG is going to have to be kind to you to get your name drawn. But somebody has to win, so why shouldn't it be you?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I guess the sales aren't really a big thing this week then.
Yeah, again, just like last week, there was nothing. I couldn't really say anything.
It's odd.
They didn't post about anything. I popped in game to look and nothing new jumped out at me or anything. So I guess they're just concentrating on the hot news and all of the news they've been releasing, and they're not worrying about sales right now.
It's odd that they don't even remotely change them though. Usually they at least do that, but
yeah, switch out Blackline weapon skins or something.
Yeah, so maybe they're gearing up for something.
That could be. Maybe they'll have like a big, huge, gigantic sale before they announce the release date for Heart of Thorns or something.
Yeah, that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, Guild Wars Players News is also pretty scant. We've got Cassandra Chapter 10, which, being sick, I have not read, unfortunately, but I'm sure it is good as always. We also have Story of a Missing Progeny Part 1, which is a part of the same kind of story from Mel, a story of a overworked progeny, but he's broken this up into different chapters, so this is a different chapter. So go check that out to read more about Anon's adventures as an Asura, of course. And Drac, tell us about the Sounds of Tyria this week.
Sure, this week I jumped back into the original Guild Wars Prophecy and the soundtrack there, and this week I did Ashford Abbey. This is one of those songs that if you played the original Guild Wars at all, you will definitely remember the song. This always played in the pre-searing, so this was before the whole searing and with the char. When you got very, very close to Ashford Abbey, this track would automatically start playing. It's just kind of a little peaceful, mellow track, and which makes sense for being in a abbey. But I can always remember this playing and then running through the courtyard and then running down to go down into the catacombs of the Ashford Abbey in the original Guild Wars. So
this is another one they play in Guild Wars 2 as well, I believe. I think I've heard this
yes. I'm trying to think. I never really paid attention, but then I heard it just this week, actually, when I was doing something, and I'm like, whoa! But I can't remember where I was.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether they have specific zones that have specific music, or if it's just sort of general. I'm not quite sure, but I know I've definitely heard this in game. It's pretty good.
So we also this week have a video spotlight that also kind of ties back into Guild Wars 1 lore, and this is Wooden Potatoes' video on his floating wizard tower theory. It's been a while since I've watched this, and considering how my voice and throat are giving out, I'm not going to talk about it. But basically, the idea is that in Kessex Hills, there's this town called Garenhof, and if you look out to the ocean from that town, there is a giant floating wizard tower castle thing. And it was also visible in Guild Wars 1 in Kessex Hills.
Mm-hmm, correct.
So Wooden Potatoes puts together this theory based on clues in Garenhof and what was going on around the wizard tower in Guild Wars 1. And basically, it's all about necromancers. So go watch the video. It's a bit on the longer side for videos that we feature for this, but totally worth it. This week we also have a community outfit. We have Sophina Agalon, or Agalon, I'm not sure. The Human Warrior, which is all decked out in blue and white, and very kind of Spartan looking. The Spartan kind of vigil helmet. So, it's really cool looking. Definitely go check that out.
Nice example of a fully armored female outfit too.
Yeah,
we
you
had
don't get to see those very often.
back asking about that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a really good example of it.
Yes, definitely a fully covered female, no skin showing. Not even the face, really.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we do have a lore book entry. The lore book, because it's been a while since we've had one, is a place where we take a look at a place, character, race, or artifact and examine the lore surrounding it. So, Drac, why don't you tell us about the Jade Wind? Because it's very relevant to today's show.
It is, actually, and I kind of alluded to that earlier when we were talking about the Revenant and Shiro. Basically what the Jade Wind was, in 872 AE, Shiro Tagachi was slain. And when he died, he let out this wail, and when he did that, that unleashed the magic that he had stolen from Emperor Agiyasan when he killed the Emperor. And that wail then turned into the Jade Wind. And the Jade Wind spread far, and it turned the Jade Sea into a piece of solid jade. And it also turned Ekavold Forest and everything in it to stone. And in the original Guild Wars and Factions, you do spend a lot of the time in Ekavold Forest and the Jade Sea. And yes, it is basically all jade. And also, they harken back to this in our game Guild Wars 2. If you go in the Durham Priory archives during one of the Living Story missions, you will find a huge worm that is encased in jade. And of course, this worm was cut out from the Jade Sea for the Priory to study. So I think it's kind of cool how they harken back and they have one of the Revenant skills that you can use with Shiro, and they call it the Jade Wind.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool.
Magic in this game is so volatile.
It is. It's always magic. It's magic or dragons. That's the two
magic dragons.
The two downfalls of Tyria is magic and dragons.
Mm-hmm. So
it's always some person doing random stuff too. Like he randomly screams and a sea turns solid jade. Because why not? Because magic.
Because Guild Wars.
Yeah, I did do a ton this week. Obviously, as mentioned, we did do the Stronghold runs, which were always fun. Mm-hmm. Until thieves turn up, but that goes without saying.
And engineers.
Oh, yeah. There was this one engineer, I don't even remember his name. All I know is that he wore glasses. And he kind of destroyed us a lot. Mm. Firstly, he was there to counter our usual strat, quote-unquote strat. It's just, he was there, and that kind of stopped us getting stuff done. He was also darn near impossible to kill, and did damage too, which was kind of annoying. Like, I couldn't get his health bar to move at all.
I don't think we ever even got him to half health.
Nope, and he was also the one who kind of won. Yeah. Because he apparently snuck past me and killed our lord while I was out doing something that I don't remember. Mm-hmm. Was not overly fun, but well played by him, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also did carry on leveling my pirate Guardian. He is now level 22. I've done, I think, both level 10 and level 20 personal stories. The level 20 was quite interesting for me, because actually like a couple of choices were sort of awkward, and I'm not quite sure how the specific one I chose, where you kind of meet your sire, because there was a lot of weird coincidences with it. Like, we had the same suffix as on our surname, and we had the same face. I don't know whether that's like planned for the game to do that, or if it's just a coincidence. But it was pretty interesting nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's just a set NPC, and it's just a very bizarre coincidence.
It was fun all the same, I suppose. I'm still running with the Greatsword at the moment. It's just the best for sort of just general PvEing. It's just, on Guardian particularly, it's just pretty broken for how much damage it does. And it's all AoE too, most of it, at least. It's ridiculous. I don't know what I'm going to do later on in the game. I haven't really looked into what the optimal stuff is to use. I like Greatsword just for diving in and spinning around to win and doing damage and stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, I think because of that, it is the most optimal weapon, at least, in the meta or whatever for PvE, because damage is key.
I'll have to look into what good sort of supporty sub items that I could use if I want to sort of help other people a bit more. I assume something maybe with the shield or something like that could be fun. I
use my shield on my Guardian. It's pretty great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to play around with that. I have sort of played around a little with the new trait system or specialization that they're called now. Because obviously they changed that, and as you level now, it's a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, I'm sort of just saving up points and investing them into a trait line, because that seems like I get more out of those than buying whatever else I could get for them. I don't remember what else the points to spend.
Utility skills.
Yeah, utilities. I have pretty much all the ones I really want at this point, so I just sort of go with the trait line. I just went with Zeal. I think it's called the first one, just because it seemed like the typical damage line, or at least one of them. So I just using that, and it's going okay so far. And that's about it.
Cool. So, Drac, what did you do this week? It looks like you did more this week than we did.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that worked out, because usually it's the opposite way around. But I can't remember if it was last week or the week before that I had said my Necro, I had been saving the personal story up. And
I think I remember you mentioned that, yeah.
I had kind of forgot about it, so I'm, going through and finishing that off. So I did the Claw Island part of the personal story, and I am part of the Vigil this time, so I got to see, instead of Tybalt doing the sacrifice, it was War Master Fogel this time. And you know what? I really didn't care. Actually, it kind of surprised me, because I figured I would kind of have the same reaction as I did with Tybalt, but I didn't, because I really didn't care. I mean, it was just like, yeah, just go do it so I can finish this.
I almost wonder, though, if part of that is because we didn't see it coming.
It might be.
The first time?
I imagine so, yeah.
It might be. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe you're right. Maybe I would have felt different if this was the first time I did it.
Because that might be part of why I didn't seem too bothered by Tybalt, because he was my second, not my first.
Even and you liked Siren a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, I liked it a fair bit.
Yeah, it might be. But to me, I think Tybalt was a much better companion that you had than what Forgel was, I think.
I just feel like Tybalt was more fleshed out as a character than Siren or Forgel.
Yeah. And Siren I actually haven't done yet. I'm going to do that on my, I think my Elementalist, I think, is the one that I'm doing that part on. So I will get to see that, so I'll see. And I do like Siren a lot, so we'll see what happens if I'm, still like, So,
yeah.
That's it. But you will be happy to know that this whole Felicia Day thing is now following me to other games.
Oh boy, of course it has.
Good to know.
I was a guest co-host, or whatever you want to say, on Lotro Reporter this week. And the whole Felicia Day thing got brought up, so I told everybody to come listen to, because somebody asked me, why I had my obsession with Felicia Day. And I said, go listen to our Gen Con story episode, and that'll explain everything.
I was really hoping you weren't about to say, you should come listen to this week's upcoming show, because, gosh, this is a show.
Because there's another Gen Con story. No. So Felicia Day is just following me everywhere. It's kind of weird that way.
I feel like you have no one to blame but yourself.
Well, probably not.
Or thank, whichever one you prefer, thank or blame. I don't know.
Probably not. It's probably my doing, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. So, other than your little Stronghold and Revenant, what did you do this week, Sithith?
I mostly laid on the couch and just died.
Yeah, besides
most
dying,
of the time.
Apparently, and coughing lungs.
Which is still, it's an ongoing state, clearly. So, I haven't played much, because it's one of those things where it's like, I'm sick. I'll just sit on the computer and play games. That's relaxing, right? And then, you log in, and then you just, stand in the grove for 15 minutes and be like, I can't do anything. And you just go lay down again. I played around a little bit on my Elementalist Char, because he's really, really cool looking. But I have only leveled him about 2 levels this week, which is really bad for me. I mean,
no progress
compared
on
to
the
my
legendary.
Did I make? I feel like I did make progress, but I don't remember what because I'm sick.
It's that kind of week.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I did a little bit of Vine Wrath. Because like, when you're sick, like in the morning you wake up and you feel like the worst thing ever, which is I think part of my problem right now because we record in the morning my time. But by like night, by the time I'm about to go to bed, it's like, oh yes, I'm a normal human being again, so I can play a little bit.
I don't know that feel then.
Oh no, you don't know that feel then because you're the opposite. But I did manage to do a little bit of Vine Wrath, so I was able to get some more globs of ectoplasm and stuff. And that's that, I think. Oh, I'm at 90 out of 100 Onyx Lodestones. I remember that. So that's really good. I only need 10 more, but they really jumped in price. They were at a low of 84 silver per lodestone, but now they're up to like 96 last time I checked.
Ouch.
So, yeah. But
I mean, it is an ouch, so many.
Yeah. I unlisted I can't word. I unlisted my Chaos Greatsword skin and relisted it lower so that I could get the money sooner. I listed it at 226 gold, so I'm hoping that it sells soon. I should be able then to get all of the Onyx Lodestones and Icy Runestones I need, and that will finish off Gift of Twilight. Mm-hmm. Then I just need to actually get around to finishing Timberline Falls and Cursed Shore.
Yeah, we need to still do that.
And then all I'll need is the tier 6 materials, I think. Oh, and a little thing called a precursor named Dusk.
No,
that's
just
the
that
thing.
Just that.
It's a little thing. It's only like 1,000 some gold. I mean, no big deal, right?
Yeah, people have that in their pockets. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. So that's been my week. So yeah, that's our show. I apologize. It's pretty interesting this week. We don't have any donations, but we'd love your support. I'm not going to do the whole spiel. I do it every week. You know what I'm going to say. Go to our donation page and support us. You can get cool stuff. We didn't get any reviews this week on iTunes. We did get an email from Lady Tesla saying, "Hey Sith, thought you might enjoy this fun glitch I got in Lion's Arch with my new little elementalist, Zivy. She jumped off the lighthouse and kept her bathing suit on even after we used the waypoint." And she sent a picture to prove it. And that is a good glitch. I approve of that.
Zero bathing suits are interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that. But it's a thing. So yeah, if you want to send us some cool glitches that you found or any topics or advice on how to not cough your lungs up, send it to us at podcast@guildwarsplayers.com, or you can send us an ask at guildwarsplayers.tumblr.com. We're also on Twitter. You can find us at you can find the Players Alliance Network Twitter at Players Ally. Our site is at GWPlayers. I'm at Sithrith. Drax at Draculetta_72. And Atharos is at Atharos. And of course, you can contact us in game. You'll find me at Sithrith.6741, Draculetta.7410, and Atharos.3164. Players Alliance has a whole bunch of live shows. Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is DDO Players, and Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is Lotra Players News. Go to guildwarsplayers.com/live to find all those shows. And this is Sithrith, reminding you to wash your hands and eat chicken soup and don't get sick because it really is not fun. Stay healthy, everybody. Bye.
Good advice.